It happens here, Boston's South End. Once known as the jazz capital of Boston, the South End used to be where you would go to see music's biggest names. But today's South End is chock full of farmers markets, foodie hotspots, and brownstones you definitely can't afford. Don't even ask. But there's another side of the South End, Methadone Mile, or as the mayor wants us to call it, Recovery Road. But yeah, it's not a road or a mile. It's an area where addiction treatment services are clustered, the front lines of Boston's fight against opioids. But a few blocks away is a place where they're fighting addiction in a completely different way.
Welcome to Phoenix, come on in. There's a lot of services down here for folks experiencing homelessness. There's some methadone treatment programs. There's one of the busier ERs in the city is right here. This neighborhood is really ground zero for the opioid crisis. I think we're right where we need to be.
But let's back up. This is Scott. Back in the 90s, he worked on boats in Boston's shipyard. Scott had struggled with addiction since childhood, but it's here where he decided to make a change.
Finally got sober at 24, and it was really getting into a boxing gym that helped get me sober. For me, finding sports and athletics wasn't sort of an intentional thing in my early recovery, but what I found, and I didn't know it at the time, but it was all those activities, getting in the boxing gym or racing triathlon, started to heal those self-esteem wounds from early childhood trauma stuff. And it started to make me believe in myself in a different way. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was sort of laying the foundation for what later would become the Phoenix.
The Phoenix might look like your average gym, but there's a lot more to it. They say it's a free, sober, active community that helps members rebuild their lives. The Phoenix works hard to eliminate the stigma around recovery. Even the staff knows what it's like to battle addiction.
For me, when I got sober, I felt like I was kind of getting out of a burning building. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew people were sort of still in that burning building, right? And I couldn't just walk away without trying to help get some other people out.
So Scott started the Phoenix, and since 2006, they've helped over 26,000 people overcome addiction and find the strength to change their lives for good.
If you talk to people in active addiction, what you would hear is isolated, loneliness, hopelessness, and I think the Phoenix is the opposite of that. You're surrounded by a gym full of people that are in recovery and that get where you're coming from. It's connection, it's people believing in you until you believe in yourself. And there's a sense of hope here.
This place means so much to me. I had really low self-esteem, really insecure, had no fitness background, so I was really intimidated. And the people here made sure that I felt incredibly welcome and taught me how to do everything step by step. So it just really became a home for me and a place that I really wanted to support and give back to as much as I could.
I used to think because I was an addict and alcoholic, no one wanted me. I always was ashamed to be an addict and alcoholic, ashamed to, have PTSD. Just that first time, my self-esteem went up,
Previous attempts at getting sober and stopping drinking was something that I did all by myself. And here was the first time that I was coming into a community that I wasn't ashamed of talking about it. I was sharing this with my family and telling them, I was like, yeah, I just benched 225 and also I'm 6 months sober. And it kind of was all rolling off the tongue at the same time for me. And really allowing to build that strength and pride in recovery.
So, how does this compare with more conventional addiction treatment alone? Well, after 6 months with the program, 86% of Phoenix members continued sobriety, with 80% reporting significant improvement in just 3 months.
We need a new way to support people in recovery. The 12-step community is a great resource for folks, but we also need more than that. I think at a core level, people are feeling some pain that they're trying to numb with drinking and drugging. And if we can get to that underlying pain and help heal it at that level, we won't need more treatment beds. We won't need as many overdose reversal drugs. We'll have a community that can help heal from within. What fills my heart about this work is seeing the smiles in the gym.
To see people, come from saying, I can't do that, to saying, maybe I'll try that, to saying, I did that, is just such an amazing process.
Everyone is welcome. Everybody can come through this door.
And you can go through that door and see for yourself at the grand opening of the Phoenix Boston on September 29th.
For me, it's a bit of a living amends to this city to help bring Phoenix back here, and create a place of hope and a part of the city that needs that hope. So just to know where our front door opens to is really special. New Englanders are tough people, and we beat harder things, and we can beat this addiction crisis.
It Happens Here is driven by your New England Chevy dealers.